Welcome to another episode of Mayo Doesn't Understand Japanese Action Games. Oh, wait, wrong intro format. Everyone told me to play Vanquish, and I don't know why. Or at least I didn't for a while. It's just so fundamentally anti what I talk about on my channel. Maybe it's that people see how fast it can be and how cool and flashy it can look, but I found the experience to be quite different. Vanquish is a third-person cover shooter by Platinum Games that came out in 2010. I played the demo on my PS3 over a decade ago, and at the time I thought it was kinda cool. The guns morph when you switch, that's cool. You've got a slide to quickly fly around the room, the guns are fun to shoot, and everything around me is exploding. There's an awesome melee attack that comes out of the boost, and you can slow time to do more focused damage. You can actually slow time in different ways. You can do it while you're boosting, which I generally found to be disorienting. You can do it after an avoiding flip animation. You can do it as you lunge over cover, which I found to be the most useful. Whenever I think of Vanquish, how I've heard it praised, and what I remember of the footage I've seen of it, I think of a fast, high-energy game with confrontational combat. Unfortunately, that's not how it presents itself, and we'll get into it after I briefly mention some other aspects of the game. The graphics are really good. The game is 12 years old at this point, and it looks great. I'm playing the Steam release, seeing those PS3 720p graphics shown in beautiful high resolution and high frame rate. It's been a smooth experience the whole way. No visual hiccups, no crashes, or even frame dips, except for the excruciating forced walking sections that happen all the time when you gotta listen to people talk at you and the frame rate drops to 30 FPS. The art design is good. I honestly like the look of the world, but it's incredibly limited. Level after level feels like the same place. I mean, I guess it is the same place, so that makes sense, but there's only so many white metallic spaces I can go to before I lose interest. Tech City in the daytime, Tech City at nighttime. There's an occasional shake-up like the forest area, but honestly the change in scenery was only refreshing until I got annoyed by the 10th time my vision was obstructed by tall grass. So it's a cool world, it's impressive, fun techie sci-fi stuff, I'm all about that. Just needs some more location variety to keep it interesting. Story, I have no idea what's going on. The cutscenes are persistent but thankfully skippable, so I started skipping all of them after the first couple of hours when I realized I didn't care anymore because I find the characters annoying. Enemy design? It's complicated. Playing the game, I feel like I'm killing the same enemies all the time, but really there are a lot of different enemies. In addition to a good number of boss battles, you've got droids, tanks, mech dudes, manned walking units, jetpack dudes, episode 1 rolling guys, suicide units. It's really not bad. I think what makes it all feel the same to me is that they aren't very interesting in their look or even in their behaviors most of the time. With every enemy being a robot and so many rooms featuring the same few types, the actual enemy variety is a bit hard to notice. I had to look up an enemy list online just to remember most of them, because when I close my eyes and think Vanquish, I just see the red dudes, the walkers, and the mechs that launch missiles. Art design and enemy variety simultaneously satisfy and disappoint throughout the playthrough. It's weird. Weapons are all pretty satisfying. I love the machine guns, the laser cannon is super cool, and the lock-on rocket launcher is great. I mostly use the heavy and assault machine guns and the LFE gun because it knocks down big guys. Lots of cool weapons, but this is a 2000s third-person cover shooter, so of course there's a weapon limit. You can hold 3 guns, and the game is constantly giving you the opportunity to pick up something different. I thought it might be a Halo-like system where this kind of thing works, where I'm using guns I like, but I run out of ammo, so I need to experiment with something else. And that did happen occasionally, but there's a system in Vanquish that rewards you for weapon loyalty. As you play, you'll find upgrade kits that get applied to the gun in your hands. It could increase ammo capacity, blast radius, power. You can also upgrade weapons by picking up copies of them while at full ammo. It's cool that I'm able to upgrade the guns, but I felt incentivized to keep the guns I already had leveled up instead of experimenting with new ones. When I've got 3 level 4 or level 5 weapons equipped, why would I pick up something that isn't leveled up at all? My gameplay eventually became homogenized, and I really wish they had rethought this system. But I gotta get to the foundation of the gameplay, what people surely recommended the game for. There's videos on YouTube about how deep Vanquish is, and some of my viewers have been sending me videos about all the cool tech. I've been excited to play this one. And man, I really did not enjoy my first attempt at this game. When I started a second run, I enjoyed it a lot more, and that's a central part of my criticism. See, I'm positive that when I say Vanquish is a cover shooter, I immediately trigger a bunch of fans who want to scream that it's not a cover shooter. It's an anti-cover shooter or something. I see where they're coming from, but there's a huge discrepancy between the fun, stylish way in which the fans of this game say it should be played and the way the game is actually set up to be played the first time you play it. Vanquish wants you to play it as a cover shooter the first time, and then as a stylish in-your-face action game later. And if you don't enjoy cover shooters, that means you're in for a very bad time, like the one I had. The main culprits are the poor camera, most notably the ridiculous level of zoom when you're aiming, which cuts off all peripheral vision in a game where bullets are coming at you from everywhere, and the boost bar. Your character Sam is rocking this awesome techno suit that lets him do unbelievable things. If you do too many of those unbelievable things, the suit gets tired and needs to rest. Boost too much, gotta rest. Slow down time too much, gotta rest. Even going in for a melee attack will drain the suit and it's gotta rest. And this is so you can't abuse it, I understand that. While the suit is in cooldown, you can't use the boost, and if you're in the line of fire, it's very hard to get out because there's no run. But it's not just the suit that has to regenerate, your health does too. Taking too much damage or even getting hit by just one or two things in some cases will force you into slow-mo, which you could use to continue fighting at risk of death or to find cover and recharge, which is the smarter option while you're learning the game because once your health is back, you have to wait again for the boost bar to come back, whether you used it or not. I'm gonna repeat that. Going into health recovery requires you to wait an additional period where you have to wait to be able to move using boost. It is the harshest punishment for taking damage that I've ever seen. And it's this game's way of screaming at you that it's best to hide behind cover until you have a good handle on the other mechanics. Mechanics that you aren't even getting time to play around with and learn because you're so drastically punished for trying to engage in them. It creates infuriating periods of waiting around for your chance to play the game again. Every time you have to wait for the boost bar to come back, the game plays an annoying beeping sound that I'm still hearing every night when I go to bed. I can't tell you how many times I was hiding behind cover, bored, thinking, man, I should just try to go out there and do something more fun, just to have my health immediately disappear, leading to me hiding behind cover again to recharge health, and then hiding more to wait for my boost to come back so I can actually move. Isn't it enough to have to wait for my health to come back? I gotta wait for the boost to come back too? Playing this game the way it's telling you to play it through its consequences leads to a boring, frustrating experience. Fans of this game will tell you that you're not supposed to play it like Gears of War, when it's far more punishing than Gears if you try to not play it as a cover shooter. It's a very different criticism than the one I have for, say, Bayonetta, also put out by Platinum Games. In Bayonetta, you're forced to play a difficulty where it's very easy to finish the game without learning much of anything. And then you unlock the next difficulty where the game assumes you're on your way to mastering it already. So much so that someone who just beat the game on normal won't even be able to pass the first room. It's a monumental difference with no in-between. And I think Bayonetta is a fine game. It's not like I hate it. I'm glad I got to play it last year. What I'm saying is that playing Bayonetta in a boring way is very effective, due to the power of mashing and especially the lack of consequences due to the auto-refill health system. You can beat that game without really learning anything. But you can also play around with the fun, stylish way to play, and you're not putting yourself at a disadvantage by doing so. Trying to do fun, crazy stuff the first time you play Bayonetta doesn't get you instantly killed. The balance is off and you can just mash through 95% of the game, but you can experiment with the stylish, cool tactics and not be screwing yourself at the same time. The systems are there to be experimented with if you choose. Actually learning the game is optional, which is a type of game design that many fans of style meters approve of. I don't, but I at least see the rationalization. Vanquish, on a first playthrough, actively punishes you for trying to play in a fun way and not just cowering behind cover most of the time. The way to find success is to play boring. The way to die over and over is exposing yourself and experimenting with your other options. The boring way to play shouldn't be the most effective way to play on your first playthrough. The fun way to play should be. The boring way to play should be something you figure out later when you're already good at the game, finding exploits, and then you can choose to play that way if you want. Making the fun way to play something you can't do at all while you're figuring out the game is a horrible design choice. And look, I know all about the tech. I know how you can skip reloading by hitting the weapon key. I know you can slow down time and shoot a grenade in the air. I know about boost canceling. This stuff is all great. I'm glad it's in the game. I'm glad that learning it makes the game more fun. My problem is that Vanquish feels like a game you already have to be good at to enjoy, instead of a game where the process of getting good is enjoyable. Just look at the comments under videos that talk about Vanquish tech. You'll find people commenting that they had no idea that's how the game is supposed to be played, because the game insists on presenting itself as a boring cover shooter the first time you play it, and there's no real reason to get better at it. Man, if ever there was a game that needed a proper style meter, it's this one. It would at least be something to strive for, even if minimal. I made it pretty far into my first run and decided to go back. When I restarted the game, I was playing much better and it felt a lot smoother to play. I started to see the Vanquish that fans talk about. That doesn't change the fact that the game was mostly a miserable experience until I got there, and I don't think the process of getting good at a game should suck. Now that I am replaying the game and playing more actively and stylishly, I'm enjoying myself and I see what's so fun about it. It's like DMC5, after the first boring 15 hours of gameplay, I finally started having fun. I'm entering cooldown way less often. I clear combat spaces much faster. I'm working in melee attacks in a smarter way. I use slow-mo a lot more efficiently. And I play around with more weapon types simply because I'm moving around a lot more and I don't have to go out of my way to replace a weapon that's out of ammo. Most of the time I play out in the open, only using cover when I need to. But the whole time something just doesn't feel right about it. I honestly think that it's just too late, because the other stuff I mentioned at the beginning starts to drag me down. I'm getting extra bored by the level design and the enemy types. The zooming aim feature and the camera still bug me. The dozens of forced walking moments irritate me. The multiple long on-rails train sections bore me. I don't feel interested in the world of Vanquish or who I'm supposed to be fighting. So no matter how good I start getting at the combat, I don't really care. And that leaves me with a big old meh. A tedious, boring first playthrough, and a second playthrough where the fun gameplay gets dragged down by the rest of the game's issues. Yeah, after like 8 hours of not liking the game at all, I spent a few more hours enjoying it for the potential it has. So I guess I do get it in an ultra kill way where I really didn't like my first playthroughs of it, but once I forced myself to play fast and stylish, I could see where the fun comes from. I just can't stick to Vanquish. There's not enough to keep me interested despite all the cool tech that's available. It's a shame. Thanks to those of you who recommended Vanquish for the Everyone Told Me to Play series. Again, if a game doesn't really do it for me, I absolutely appreciate and value the experience of playing something new. Check out the rest of the Everyone Told Me to Play series on this channel, and leave your recommendations in the comments. I don't care if it's something you think I'll love or hate. I just like playing new stuff and seeing how it goes. Later.